Alright, hey guys. Yeah, I thought I'd do another reasonable update. I did a mini update a couple of days ago. And yeah, all sorts have been happening over the last week with the lights, which is cool. So first of all, my pixels have arrived. So it's 40 strings of 50 each. There is a big box of them over here. We're gonna get that on camera, yeah. So quite pleased those have turned up. That was one of my big bugbears, was whether they'd turn up in time, and they turn up really quickly, as it turned out, which surprised me. I've gone for the 5-volt ones. A lot of people will probably recommend the 12-volt ones because it's easier to power. But I've got a lot of 5-volt power supplies already, and quite decent 5-volt power supplies as well. So it seems silly buying more power supplies when I've got them. And we'll see how much it challenges me with cabling when the time comes. So the other cool thing that's happened is I tried out xlights, and all the people that told me to try xlights were bang on the money. It's amazing. I'm well chuffed with that. I very quickly got artnet data out of it over Ethernet and managed to do something quite useful with it already. So well chuffed with that. Definitely using xlights going forwards. It's got some amazing tools in there. It was really quick and easy to get going with. Thoroughly recommend that to anybody who hasn't tried it already. Other things that are quick and easy to get going. I got Falcon Player running on a Raspberry Pi. That was actually quite easy to set up. You just download their image, use the Raspberry Pi image flasher to put it onto the SD card, bang it in, off you go. Their instructions are pretty good. There's kind of some really good guides online on how to do it. If anybody wants to know any more, maybe I'll do a bit more on it, but I think there's a lot of information out there already, so I think I'll just be duplicating stuff there. All these wires are getting close together. There we go. One thing I am going to do with this, I haven't done yet, because it's kind of running off my lab network at the moment, and I'm running 2 subnets, so it's fine. But when this goes outside, I'm gonna you can set the Falcon Player up so that it lets you route between networks, so that I can access kind of any of the controllers or anything over Wi-Fi from my home network, at the same time keeping it off all my home networky stuff. So definitely I'm going to do that. I've kind of already set it up to do that. And the other thing I'm going to do, just to make my life a lot easier when I'm installing it and setting it up, is I'm going to configure this to run as a DHCP server as well. Just so that anything I plug in immediately gets an IP address and is easy to reconfigure. I've done a lot with networking over the years, and I just know that it's such an easy win. It's such a useful tool to have running, and I've not seen it in the feature set at the moment, but you can get onto this over SSH just like you could with any other Raspberry Pi. So we'll get DNS mask on there, and we'll get that running a DHCP server before the time's out. But it's not essential right now. I'm kind of getting by it at the moment. So yeah, some cool, they were kind of quick and easy wins actually, all of those things were. Another win I've had is, I mentioned last time that I want to make my own artnet to pixel controller. I've sort of had this desire to do something like that for a while, and this turned out to be a good opportunity. So I kind of originally looked at using the Raspberry Pi Picos for it. The reason behind that is they've got these programmable, I'm not 100% place, but they've got these programmable I/O on there, and you can do some really cool stuff with that. So you can have the programmable I/O output the right format for neopixels, for pixels, for WS11s, WS12s, all that kind of stuff. There's some brilliant guides on how to do it, and people have even, because it's got dual cores, people have kind of used one core for outputting and one core for doing dithering and doing all sorts of awesome stuff with it. And I also spotted that somebody had got, a few people have got Ethernet working on these things as well, with just a normal PHY, just a normal physical interface chip, no SPI stuff or anything like that. And that was really appealing, because it's cheap. And the PHYs are cheap, and yeah, and I followed the examples, I got them up working. What I failed to notice when I was looking at those guides is that the Phi actually uses both programmable IOs. So I was thinking, oh, I could use 2 programmable IOs. I could drive like 2,000 pixels just from one of these. That'd be awesome. And you probably can, but there's not a great deal else you can do with it once you've got it to that point. Although I probably could if I'd used SPI over Ethernet. Anyway, that goes back in the box. I got that a few months ago. I've still done nothing with it. Go back over there again. It's just one of those things that's really got some really great specs, but just always falls over at the final hurdle for some reason. I'll find a use for it. But what I did do is I got this puppy working. So this is kind of what I posted about. So over here, I've got a relatively bog standard ESP32. That's just the WROOM modules. It turns out they support Ethernet PHYs. So Ethernet, like the MII layer, which is kind of the real low level layer. Just out of the box, the libraries are there for them. It's like 3 lines of code to really just set them off going. There's not much you have to do with them, and they work with a few little tweaks and some special some pull up and pull down resistors. They work with the 87010 and 87020 PHYs, which are like less than $1 each. They're dirt cheap. They're used all over the place, and yeah, there's a great guide online on how to take one of these boards, one of these sort of dev boards, put a couple of pull up and pull down resistors, which I've done over here, tag a bodge wire on to the crystal, and yeah, they just work. Well chuffed with that. Turns out they're a really popular chip and they're out of stock everywhere. And they're not coming back in stock again until July next year, from all the sources I found. So I can order them, but yeah, I can't get them. So what I had planned to do with this was I planned to kind of have a circuit board kind of not much bigger than this, with a little vertical Ethernet jack on there. And my big plan actually was to have it fit in one of these whisker boxes. So these are a really popular outdoor enclosure, outdoor waterproof box in the UK. You can pick them up for not too much money. They just work, they keep the water out, they do the job. They're really popular with sort of electricians and stuff. They've already got these kind of rubber glands on them and stuff. So I've designed a few boards to fit in these before, and I'd planned just to use one of those and have a board that's kind of that size. I don't think I'm going to do it because I don't think I'm going to get to do it this year, because I think this board's going to have to, well, the only way I can buy these chips at the moment is on these dev boards. They're still not too much money. They're like, I'm getting them for like £3 British, so like $5. But I'm getting the jack, and I'm getting the chip, and I'm getting the crystal, I'm getting loads of other stuff for that. So I don't feel like I'm out of pocket doing it that way around. It just means my board's going to be a little bit bigger, because it's got to accommodate, you know, kind of that go around there, and it's going to kind of be that size. So I don't think I'll fit in those boxes. It would if I can find a vertical jack, but meh. Life goes on. I've ordered. Seeing that these chips are in short supply, I promptly went away and ordered 5 of them. So I've now got enough of those to see the project through. So yeah. I mean, I've not been doing much stuff with electronics for a little while, and this component shortage thing kind of blown me by. I've not seen it, and I've seen people talking about it and saying, you know, it's mad, stuff's going out of stock. It's on like 18-month lead times and all sorts of crazy stuff. And I'm like, no, yeah, you hear that all the time, but no, it's real, and I've got stung by it, so that's annoying. So yeah, a little bit more around this. So I've got used the ArtNet library, came apart, that you can find on Platform.io. And actually, before I go any further, if people are really interested in this, drop me some notes in the comments, and maybe I'll go into this in just way more depth and put some schematics up and kind of board layouts and stuff like that, and I'll show some of the code. What I am going to definitely do is this is definitely going to become, I'll put this up on GitHub. Probably GitLab. I use GitLab more than I use GitHub. but I put it up there as a little project. People download, just flash onto those chips and use to their heart's content. Everything I've used so far has been open source, so might as well keep it that way. But yeah, there's an artnet library. It's called Wi-Fi Artnet, I think. You can find it in Platform.io's search, and kind of use the examples for that, and yeah, it got me up and going with this. A few little weird things. The examples, they all wait for you to receive every DMX universe you're expecting. So Artnet's like, it sends it out in a DMX universe at a time, which gives you 512 channels at a time. So something like this, driving thousands of LEDs, it's going to build hundreds of LEDs. You're going to have a few universes. So if you've got 6 universes, it's waiting for all 6 universes to arrive before it says, yeah, good, go and update them. Because these are taking, like, I had some timings written down, but to update a string of 1,000 pixels, which is what I'm doing, was taking, I could basically, I've got like 30 frames per second. So it's taking whatever a 30th of a second is. A few hundred milliseconds, so because basically the update rate is slower than the packets coming in. The way they were doing the synchronization was they were waiting for all DMX universes to come in and then updating them, and then updating the pixels, and they wait for another whole batch of universes to come in, update the pixels. And that worked when I was using xlights directly from my laptop. Worked absolutely fine, worked beautifully. xlights was always shoving out 10, I had 10 universes set up. I didn't need that many, but it was always shoving out 10 universes every single time. Move over to Falcon Player, and Falcon Player was doing something a little bit weird. Now I've resisted the urge so far to kind of fire up Wireshark and try and grab some packet traces and see what it was actually doing. But it seemed like it was optimizing how much it was sending out over the Ethernet. So there's a sequence here in a minute, you'll see it's kind of going through and it's running, it's doing like a color swipe across all the chains. And when it did that, you kind of get these big batches. You kind of get 3, 3, 3, not them swiping across nicely. And my hunch is that they're saying, they're doing something in the background that says that universe hasn't updated, don't send it, save on the bandwidth. And according to the docs, it's like some tick boxes in the user in the user interface, but that made no difference. So what I've done is I've split. These guys have got 2 cores on their dual core processors. I mean, $3 for like a dual core processor with Wi-Fi. They're just nuts what they do. But anyway, yeah, I'm using 1 core to do the ArtNet protocol and the networking and a little web interface. And then the other core is just used for banging out updates to these as quickly as it possibly can. So it's updating at like 30 frames per second. The ArtNet data is coming at like 25 frames per second, and the whole thing kind of hangs together. I'm going to try and do some better synchronization. I think I had a quick go with something hacky. It didn't work. So, but once I've got the board designed and I've got it sent off from manufacturers, kind of a few weeks while that's off doing things. One of my jobs will be to sit down and properly sort the software out and do it properly. I'll create a little library and I'll put some unit tests around it. I'll do the whole thing how it should be done and turn it into a little project. So for now, this is like properly hacked together. I just wanted to prove it worked. Yeah, so if there's anything here that interests people and you want to know more about it, drop me a note in the comments and I will happily do like a specific video just on that. I'm kind of quite new to this, so I'm kind of learning as I go along, particularly with the videoing stuff. So yeah, if it's interesting, I'll do it. If not, I'll probably lose interest and all that. But yeah, if people want to know more, then I'm up for sharing that. Part of doing this was just to kind of tell people what I'm up to, how things are going, what's gone well, what hasn't gone well. Yeah. Another little thing, which I can't show you now, it's dark outside, but I fitted an external, just an external waterproof main socket on the outside of the house. Because one of the jobs every year I spend way longer than I should do wiring a plug onto the end of a cable that goes for a hole that I've drilled, and I'm like, yeah, let's just put an outside socket on that. I'll win in the long run. So I've done that, and I've kind of ripped apart all the waterproof boxes and stuff from last year, and I've salvaged a Netgear switch from some bit of home networking somewhere that no longer used it. It just had 2 cables plugged into it. Whew. There's a massive spider's web in there. Look at that. Yeah, get that open and get that out. Yeah, so I've done that, and yeah, that's kind of been quite a bit the last week. I'm going to my plans for the next kind of couple of weeks or so. I'm gonna strip all this apart now. I'm gonna get this guy driving my differential lights. So I showed you last time. I've got like this. Yeah, these normal, I say kind of normal lights where they're just they're just differential. One's wired one way around, one's wired the other way around, and you toggle them quick enough, it gives the illusion they're all on. So yeah, I've kind of gone through various little H-bridge designs. So I'm going to get that work. I'm going to try and just get this guy up and running, doing artnet to like this shift register arrangement I've got for driving those. Just prove that works. It's going to work, but I'd rather prove it on the bench before I commit it to PCB and send it off, and then I should be able to get like one common board, or at least get all the boards made up at the same time. Yeah, I'll do a little update when I've got the PCB design and sent off. I think will be the next one to do. I'm pondering mounting brackets and agonising over that, but yeah, I'll do that next time around, I think. Yeah, so if there's anything, if you like it, please like it. If you want more information, drop me a message or drop something in the comments. Whatever, I'll try and do more. If you want me to do videos on particular things that I'm working on, yeah, it's kind of interesting to know what people are interested in. For me, a lot about this project is the visuals. I like doing the visuals. What I really love is getting in and playing around with the tech and kind of just designing boards and making things, and it's a great excuse to make things for me. A great source of inspiration to make things. So yeah, all right, well, I will catch you next time.